Hello. I'm Sally, your host. Welcome to my Masters Chess channel, the third board. In this video, I will continue to narrate the game played between the third world champion, Jose Raul Capablanca, and the English master, Frederick Yates, in 1919, Hastings. If you have not watched part 1, I recommend you watch it first. Just click the link above. If your device does not show the link, you can access part 1 through links my master made available in this video description, and in the comments section. Well, without more delay, let's continue the game. As we watched in the last video, in this position, Frederick Yates had black and played bishop to d7, threatening the c6 rook, and indirectly threatening the a4 pawn too. Capablanca plays bishop to b5, offering the exchange. It's interesting to note that this was not the best move according to Stockfish. The engine suggests instead, queen to b5 first, offering to trade queens. This move would bring more advantage for white. After queen to b5, a possible continuation would be queen takes queen, bishop takes queen, knight takes on d2, knight takes knight, castles, rook to c4, and white would be better. Let's return to the game. After bishop to b5, Yates continues with bishop takes on c6, accepting the exchange sacrifice. Bishop takes on c6 check. Master Fish did not like this move from Capablanca. Instead, taking the bishop with the d5 pawn would amplify white's advantage. If white had played d takes on c6, the game could have continued like this. King to f8. Escaping from the discovered check. Knight to f5. Knight takes on d2. Knight takes knight. Knight to f6. Knight to c4. Threatening the queen and putting pressure on the d6 pawn. Queen to c7. Rook to d1. And black's position would be very difficult. Let's return to the game. In any case, observe how black's light squares became weak after the black bishop disappeared from the board. After bishop takes on c6, the game continues with king to f8, queen to c4. According to the engine, instead of this move, pawn to h3, expelling the knight was better. The game continues with knight takes on d2, knight takes on d2, queen to a7, again putting pressure on f2, queen to e2, h5, knight to f5, bishop to f6. This was a weak move according to Stockfish. Instead, it was better to play king to g8, opening space for the bishop, and allowing f6. After king to g8, the game could have continued like this. a5. Bishop to f8. a6. f6. Opening the second rank to activate black's h8 rook. Bishop to b7. Knight to h6. Threatening the f5 knight. Knight to e3. g4. Knight to b3. Rook to h7. Queen to b5. But white would still be better. Let's return to the game. After bishop to f6, the game continues with knight to c4. Queen to c5. b3. Capablanca consolidates the knight's position, and avoids further advances of black's b-pawn. But Stockfish prefers another move. Instead of pawn to b3, the engine suggests pawn to a5. One possible continuation would be knight to h6. Knight takes knight. Rook takes knight. Pawn to a6. King to g7. Rook to a1. g4. Threatening pawn to g3. But white would still be much better. Let's return to the game. After pawn to b3, black plays knight to h6. The best move in this position. White's f5 knight must be confronted. Knight takes on h6. Rook takes on h6. Queen to e3. Offering the trade of queens, which would simplify the game. But this was another Capablanca move the engine did not like. Master Fish insists it was better for white to advance the queen's rook pawn to a5. The game could have continued like this. Rook to h8. Queen to e3. Queen to d4. a6. g4. a7. King to e7. King to f1. There is no need to hurry to promote the pawn. Rook to c8. King to e2. And white's advantage would be overwhelming. Let's return to the game. After queen to e3, black continues with rook to c8. Rook to c1. And here we come to an interesting position. Look carefully. White threatens to capture the black queen, and after black recaptures with the d6 pawn, this pawn would become an easy target. White also has a clear advantage, but black can make his path to victory more difficult if he makes the best move. I chose two candidate moves for black. They are queen takes on e3, trading queens, and Bishop to d8, which loses another pawn, but tries to block the passed pawn. Which one is the best move for black? Did you like this game so far? I hope you enjoyed this video. Please support our channel by liking and subscribing. It will help us to make more content like this. I will narrate this game conclusion in the next video. See you in part 3. Goodbye.